Tiny Music. Songs from the Vatican Gift Shop is the third album by American rock band Stone Temple Pilots, released on March 26, 1996, on Atlantic Records. After a brief hiatus in 1995, STP regrouped to record Tiny Music, living and recording the album together in a mansion in Santa Barbara, California. The album had 3 singles reach number 1 on the mainstream rock tracks chart, including Big Bang Baby, Lady Picture Show, and Trippin' on a Hole in a Paper Heart. Musical style and reception. Tiny Music displays a drastic change in the band's sound, featuring music strongly influenced by 60s rock and bands such as the Beatles. Stephen Lewin of Allmusic stated in his review of the album that Tiny Music illustrates that the band aren't content with resting on their laurels, and STP have added a new array of sounds that lend depth to their immediately accessible hooks, naming shoegaze and jangle pop as 2 examples of genres explored on the album. Lewin also wrote that the album showcases the band at their most tuneful and creative. Rolling Stone also favored the album, regarding it as the group's best effort to date. They expressed surprise, however, at the clattering, upbeat character of the music given Wieland's much-publicized run-ins with drugs and the law. The magazine also featured STP on its cover of issue number 753 in February 1997. David Brown of Entertainment Weekly, however, was less favorable of the album, writing that none of it has a distinct personality. Conflict within the band. In early 1995, shortly after the band was forced to scrap 2 weeks' worth of recorded material, lead singer Scott Weiland was arrested for heroin and cocaine possession and sentenced to 1 year's probation. In the months following this incident, Weiland formed his own side band, The Magnificent Bastards, and recorded songs for the Tank Girl soundtrack and for a John Lennon tribute album. During this time the rest of the band decided to put together their own side project, which would later become the band Talk Show. In the fall of 1995, when Stone Temple Pilots regrouped to record again for Tiny Music, Robert and Dean got together to figure out which songs should be Tiny Music songs and which songs should be Talk Show songs. Dean would later say, "Robert and I had about 30 songs, and we sat in the room one night and basically went down the list and marked next to every song, Scott, Scott, Dave, Scott, Dave, Dave, Scott. It's really weird, because in all reality it was like Big Bang Baby could have been on the Talk Show record and Everybody Loves My Car could have been on Tiny Music." Issues with Weiland's drug use did not clear up after his sentence, and STP was forced to cancel most of their 1996 to 1997 tour for Tiny Music. Because of the tour cancellation, Tiny Music did not receive as much exposure as initially intended. The album was certified to a platinum but was not as commercially successful as STP's first 2 albums. Album cover. The album cover features a woman doll in a swimsuit standing before a pool with a crocodile in it. The band said that they wanted to create the old 70s and 80s LP kind of style to their cover. The album was released on CD, LP, and CS. The cover was made by Tom Carolyn. Commercial performance. In the United States, the album debuted at number 4 on the Billboard 200 Albums chart on the issue dated April 13, 1996, with 162,500 copies sold. Track listing. Personnel. Stone Temple Pilots. Stone Temple Pilots. Art Direction, Design, Scott Weiland. Vocals, Percussion, Dean DeLeo. Guitars, Bass Guitar, Robert DeLeo. Bass Guitar, Guitars, Backing Vocals, Vibraphone, Electric Harpsichord, Percussion, Eric Critt. Drums, Percussion, Piano. Additional personnel. Brendan O'Brien. Producer, Mixing, Piano, Tambourine, Organ, Clavinet, Percussion, Dave Ferguson. Trumpet, Nick Dyer. Recording Engineer, Karam Costanzo. Second Engineer, Chris Goss. Vocal Engineer, Tracy Chisholm. Vocal Engineer, Stephen Markine. Mastering, Ron Boosted. Digital Editing, Tom Carolyn. A&R, Steve Stewart. Management, John Caldwell. Assistant Management, Joseph Fio. Assistant Management, John Eder. Photography, John Hearden. Art Direction. Charts. Album singles certifications References